A lot of news happening, a lot of bearish momentum, and a lot of fear mongering. And you know what? As traders, we focus on the charts, not the news. So tell me the news, I'll show you the charts. So let's dive into the charts here. Just a quick update on today's price action in the next couple days. Obviously, we had a really nice high put in this past week, and then almost a tentative of a sweep low here. So what does that leave us right now? Well, CME closed just about right here. We can see that we've had a nice reclaim of the monthly VWAP level, and we're kind of gearing towards the monthly POC. So almost a full rotation to the value area high, failure, rejection of POC down. And then even in the local range that we have, right, looks like we're reclaiming this level here. So reclaim of the value area low. So a lot of just rotations, a lot of chop still. This is still corrective price action that we're having. We can look at the weekly, monthly profile. So at the value area high. And if we're looking at just a 618 back test from that, it wouldn't be a bad idea for those of you that are actively trading on the weekend to be looking for some sort of short setup within the golden pocket 6-6 for the scenario that obviously, we're now above the CME close. So this is a gap that we're creating. And obviously, it's still Saturday. So if we still kind of come up into here, we start to see some bearish order flow and whatnot. I wouldn't be surprised that we come into this. And then we trade back down in the CME. And then you're in a favorable short position. And you can obviously trade that in one of two ways. Shorts above here, or even this high if it's not taken, and look to trade it back down to the lows, right? So let's take a look at some of the Elliott Wave stuff that we have forming here. Now, obviously, we have our larger context of this being a 5-wave structure into the 4, down into the 5, and we're looking for a final wave down into the mid 50s. So if we look at the overall things that we can look at, earlier this week, we had a bit of a smaller triangle where we had an A, B, C, D, E potential for a wave down, but obviously that was taken. So the E wave of this high is invalidated, and that is no longer an impulsive count. So you can assume that the fourth wave, right, is still in play here. So, now we can look, okay, maybe this is a larger A, B, C, D, and we're putting in the E, and then we start to get impulsive as the week starts to play. So that's one thing to be aware of. I do think, again, with a short potential here, it wouldn't be a bad idea to be looking for a swing short in this area. E's always land at the golden pocket, the 7.2s, or even the 7.86. And if you go and look at the liquidity, let's pull that up here on the charts, we can definitely see that there is a ton of liquidity that we've not only taken on the downside here, but we also started to take on the upside, right? Now, we also still have a lot of liquidity up north here, and once you get up to about 72, 73, 72, 73, that's about 2 billion in liquidations just when you get up to those levels. So in terms of liquidity, what we're looking at on the charts, it's one of those things to be aware of if we can make a move back up and take this liquidity, we could just still be again in a larger double 3. So we have an ABC, an ABC, and then an ABC, or this could be the obvious impulsive start. So 1, 2, up to the 3, 4, and then looking for the 5th. So either way, still looking for the 3, 3, 5, or the 3, 3, 3. So again, larger WXY still in potential, have not taken this X low. And again, there is no real rules in terms of how low an X can go. X waves are always very corrective and deep. So there's no, I hate to say it, but there's no like invalidation here that this move is inaccurate. And for it to come down, and almost sweep the lows here, that's pretty, you gotta love it, right? That's Bitcoin. So impulsive, WXY, looking for a triangle. Either way, all of those scenarios still suggest that we're in a wave 4, and whether we have a move up slightly to here and we make a move down, or we have a impulsive move or a 3-wave corrective move, to the upside here. Still looking for the wave 4 to go deeper into the wave 5. So nothing really structurally has changed. Still need to be patient. Still need to look at, the overall range and the scenarios from a Bitcoin Elliott Wave scenario. Now let's take a look at order flow, and then I'll leave you guys for the weekend. We have interesting stuff going on, a lot of stuff going on here. So let's take a look. just at the 4-hour time frame. So this was obviously the news came out of the escalations, but again, this isn't about the news, this is about the technicals. So if you look, tons of negative delta flooding in, bringing this candle down. And if you look at this, and then again, this is 4-hour candles, so you have to consider the amount of volume in this candle and the delta associated with a 4-hour candle. But these are the lows of this candle, and you can clearly see that and again, we did have let me show you this chart real quick, one more. Where is my chart here? Here it is. All right, so we did have actually a MPOC right down here, and this was a complete move down into the MPOC, tap SFP, and move up. So when we go back to and look at order flow, we can clearly see that with the SFP happening just right about here, trap shorts all at the lows, a lot of negative delta at the lows, and a quick punch back up as we are seeing right now, and some positive delta flooding in. So, and again, this is weekend hours, so it's something to be considerate of. However, this is just something to, obviously for order flow, this is a great long, and I ended up keeping my long in the position that it was in. I had it previously set in. So if I go pull up TradingView again, my setup, sat around these levels here, right? And I had it stop loss to entry after we had to move up, and then I never had any problem with this setup now. But obviously it started coming down, and I had a choice of two things. Well, I've already taken 50% of that 2%, so I just left the stop loss below this low because my position size is greatly reduced. So after taking 50% of that position and still having my short from this 3 drive setup here, I'm covered for the event of a stop loss. And then, again, if that does happen, I was looking for the scenario of, okay, this is SFP reclaim, and then we're back up into it. So now I still have my long running here. I still have my short running here. So overall, I'm still going to be pretty patient in what happens next with this. And I'm just really looking for, again, the overall clarity of what happens from an Elliott Wave perspective. Do we get the triangle, and do we get an impulsive wave move down and sweep these lows? Or do we actually get a liquidity tap of a larger WXY and form, the two scenarios for a WXY, which would be, this being the A, B, C, or we get the impulsive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So this would be the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5. And then after that, look for that confirmation of lower from an impulsive 5-wave motive sequence down. So this is my update for you guys. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. Happy Saturday, and I'll be seeing you on the charts. CME open Sunday.